Did you know that America has a dark secret behind its massive size? It's a story of broken promises, shady deals, and a forgotten tragedy. It all started in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase. The US supposedly bought a huge chunk of North America from France for a mere $15 million. But here's the catch: France didn't actually own the land. They sold the imperial rights, basically giving the US a green light to colonize territory that belonged to hundreds of Native American nations for thousands of years. Initially, the plan seemed noble. Leaders like George Washington wanted to do things differently from the old European empires. Instead of conquests, they would negotiate fair treaties and buy the land. At first, it was a peaceful process. The US offered food, farming equipment, and cash in exchange for land. But many tribes deeply connected to their ancestral homes weren't interested in selling, and that's when things got ugly. When tribes said no, the US government started playing dirty. Near the Great Lakes, when tribes refused to sell, the US waged war. After 2 losses, they finally won and forced a treaty, taking almost all of present-day Ohio. In Florida, the Seminole tribes faced a similar fate. The military came in, a war erupted, and thousands were killed before the survivors were pushed into swat. The Muskogee Nation in Alabama tried to compromise, selling part of their land to keep the rest. The US agreed, but just 4 years later, settlers flooded in, and the military forced the Muskogee out without a treaty. The tactics were shocking. They'd get tribal leaders drunk to sign away land, or appoint fake leaders who would sign on behalf of the entire tribe. Even when the Sioux and Arapaho nations defeated the US military and secured a peace treaty. It was broken just 8 years later when gold was discovered on their land. Over nearly 100 years, the US signed 368 treaties, but it was all a facade of justice, a thinly veiled campaign for imperial conquest. The situation was especially tense in the Deep South, home to the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Muskogee, and Seminole nations known as the 5 Civilized Tribes. They had adopted many European customs and had treaties guaranteeing their land rights. But the booming cotton industry, fueled by slave labor, made their land incredibly desirable. The state of Georgia was particularly aggressive, trying to abolish Cherokee governance. The Cherokee fought back using the American legal system and won their case in the Supreme Court. The court affirmed their rights, but the president at the time, Andrew Jackson, a man notorious for his brutality towards Native Americans, simply ignored the ruling. He pushed through the Indian Removal Act of 1830. A law designed to relocate all eastern tribes to a designated Indian territory west of the Mississippi. The law promised fair, voluntary negotiations, but in reality, it was just more deception. Jackson's administration used threats, bribes, and violence to force the tribes out. The Cherokee were tricked into a treaty signed by an unauthorized leader. Despite protests, the US government used that signature as justification. Between 1831 and 1838, 100,000 people were forced from their homes. They walked over 1,000 miles in brutal conditions on a journey that became known as the Trail of Tears. Thousands died. This was a systematic, governance-sanctioned ethnic cleansing, all documented with receipts and treaties. It's a chilling piece of history that shows how the US expanded its territory. But the story doesn't end there. In our next video, we'll explore what happened when these nations arrived in their new territory and how they continued to fight for their rights, leading to the creation of a US state that could have been very different. Thanks for watching. We work hard to bring you these important stories. If you want to support our work and get access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusive Q&As and more, please consider joining our community on Patreon. Every bit of support helps us stay independent and keep making videos like this one. Check out the link in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in part 2.